What year, when and why did your family come to the UK? And from where?
So my dad came in 1947 on a boat from India. He probably received some financial support from the British government because, if you remember, India was still part of the empire. Yeah. But they've also got the Museum of Slavery, which is good.
Yeah.
I think
that's really
should be an inspiration to have a museum. I want to have a museum of empire, not to make Britain feel guilty, but just to state
that's
what the world was like. Yeah. Well, how other countries, how lots of European countries got rich. And how the slave trade came through, was intricately linked with empire and India being part of it. I think people need to know about that kind of thing. But the slavery museum's a great beginning, but it should be an inspiration to have something like that in London or even Liverpool. Yeah, that's where a lot of the Pakistani community and the West Indian community were there, but there had been foreigners in Liverpool for 100 years, the Yemeni sailors, and because West African sailors, because it was a port and slavery came through Liverpool, there was lots of immigrants.
Britain's oldest Chinese community, Liverpool.
Do you think Liverpool has changed much? I mean, how do you think is Liverpool? What are the most notable changes in the past since?
Everyone's got a bit more money, spending it in town.
Yeah, I guess Albert. Obviously visibly, visibly Albert Dock.
The first thing that happened in Liverpool after it was desperately poor and neglected in the 1980s, and the Conservative government actually said we're going to have a managed decline. They admitted they were going to watch Liverpool decline, manage it, and because they knew they weren't getting any votes there anyway, there was no Conservative MPs, there probably still isn't. And the first thing that happened to regenerate it was the Tate Modern in the late 80s.
That was the Albert Dock, though.
And the Albert Dock, and they have going to have the Tate Modern Gallery, and that sucked everything in.
But I believe the Albert Dock was kind of based on reclamation of the dockyards. There's an intellectual. People aren't embarrassed about being intellectual in Liverpool. That's what's really nice. There's a kind of there's a level of intellect, and people are kind of into poetry and the
working
arts.
Class.
Yeah,
intellectual thing.
Yeah, it's nice. It's not a shameful thing. People think, well, you know what, I can write poetry, I can sing, I can do that. And, but we very much come from the southern suburbs where the Beatles came from, and I sometimes listen to their music. I felt very similar in character to them because they were just exploring the world, but had no problem exploring intellectually either. It's a place. It breeds people who are who want to better themselves, kind of on an artistic level. I think I've never felt that in another city. That's really
people know where they're from.
Yeah,
from in Liverpool, I think.
was great growing up there. It never leaves you.